Émile Zola's Thérèse Raquin shocked France of the 80s with its realism, much as Lady Chatterley's Lover has stirred controversy in our day. Taken from an actual case, Thérèse Raquin's publication caused rioting in the streets of Paris. The critics regarded the play and the book it was adapted from as utter filth. The outrage subsided, but Thérèse Raquin's impact was felt in every corner of Europe. It was the first psychological drama, preparing the way for the broad movement of truth which led to the works of Strindberg and Ibsen.
You if I talk?
No, as long as you keep still.
Oh, I fall asleep after supper if I can't talk. Oh, you're so lucky to have your health. Doesn't matter what you eat. I never should have had that second helping of custard. It upset me. You like it, don't you?
Oh, yes. Very good stuff.
It was made specially for you, although they know it doesn't agree with me. Mama spoils you, Laurent. Doesn't she, Therese? Therese, doesn't Mama spoil Laurent?
Yes. Oh, don't take any notice of them, Laurent. It was Camille himself who first told me you liked custard, and it was Therese who insisted on shaking the sugar over it.
Ah, she's always spoiled you. Do you remember the pennies she used to give you when we were children in Vernon?
Yes, I do.
And you used to buy those little penknives, do you remember? Ah, seems like such a long time ago. You know, we were really lucky to find each other again in Paris. I was bored to death. It was so dull here in the evenings when I got home from the office. Can you still see?
Not very well, but I want to finish.
These summer evenings are so long. You know, I wish you'd painted me during the day. Would have looked nicer. And you should have painted a country scene instead of that gray background.
Camille, be still. I'll let you go in a minute. This is the last sitting.
You would have had much better light, too. We don't actually get any direct sunlight, but it shines on the wall opposite, and that lights up this workroom. What a dreary idea of Mama's to take this place in the Pont Neuf alley. It's so damp on rainy days you'd think it was a cellar.
Well, in business, one place is as good as another.
You're right. They've got the millinery shop to worry about. Thank goodness I've got nothing to do with that.
I think the house is quaint.
I'm glad you think so. Apart from this workroom, there's absolutely no light. The kitchen is like a dark hole. None of the doors shut. You freeze. There's always an abominable draft from that staircase at night.
Poor darling Camille, you're never satisfied. I could have started the shop again at Vernon, but when you married your cousin Therese, I had to come here. It was you who insisted on being a clerk in Paris.
Well, now I realize that I prefer our dear Vernon with the Seine flowing by.
Camille.
Oh, I offered to go back there.
Good Lord, no, not now that I've discovered Laurent at the office. Anyway, I'm only here in the evening.
Then stop bullying me about this house. It's quite all right. Ah, shop, Therese. Oh, never mind, I'll go. Just a minute.
I don't mean to upset her, but this alleyway is very unhealthy for me. I'm not as strong as the rest of you. I'm afraid of an attack of pneumonia. Laurent, can't I relax for a bit? I can't feel my right arm anymore.
Oh, all right if you want to. I'm practically finished.
Oh, I'm sorry, but I just can't stand another minute of it. Just gotta get up and move around a bit. I've never been able to understand how my wife can sit still for hour on end without moving a finger. I'd be pins and needles all over.
Not yet.
It irritates me to see someone forever mooning. Laurent, doesn't it annoy you to feel her sitting there like that beside you? Therese, wake up! Are you enjoying yourself?
Yes.
Well, I hope you're happy. You know, when her father first left her with Mama, it really used to frighten me to see her sitting there that way, staring into space. He was a sea captain, a dreadful man. Died in Africa, never came back to Vernon again. That's right, isn't it, Therese?
Yes.
She's lost her tongue, poor thing. Well, never mind. You're a good girl. You know, we've never had a single quarrel since Mama allowed us to marry. You're not cross with me, are you?
No.
All right, Camille. Sit down again. Just a few minutes more.
Oh, Laurent, I
Please.
can't.
Sit down. Turn your head to the right. Sit. Now, don't move. Camille, you are impossible. Open your eyes.
Any news from your father?
No, he's forgotten about me. As soon as he found out I was spending his money to pay for my fees at the art studios, he cut me off.
Well, now at any rate you know how to paint. And you've got the job at the office.
Yes, well, I must say I like painting better. It's fun. And it's not dull like that miserable office. What I miss most, though, is my studio. I had a divan there, and I used to sleep all afternoon. I had some wild nights there, too.
You mean you had affairs with the models?
Of course. Once there was this magnificent blonde. Oh, she was lovely. She was the most voluptuous woman I have ever seen. I think we've shocked your wife.
If she was listening. She doesn't have much brain, poor thing. But you know, she takes marvelous care of me when I'm ill. And Mama's even taught her to make my herb tea.
I don't think she likes me very much.
Laurent, don't say that. You know these women, they simply don't care for their husbands' friends.
There. All right, Camille, you can get up now.
Finished?
Yes. It only has to be framed. You like it?
Oh, yes. It's a great success, isn't it? Mama, Therese, come and look. Laurent's finished the painting.
What? He's finished it?
Yes,
Oh.
look.
Oh, what a splendid likeness.
Thank you, madame.
Especially the mouth.
Mm.
The mouth is striking,
Oh,
don't you think so,
My
Therese?
dress suit, my wedding suit. Look at the cloth of the collar. It looks absolutely real.
And the back of the chair.
It's amazing. It looks real. Do you know that's my very own armchair? We brought it with us specially from Vernon. No one sits in it but me. Mama has one too, but hers is green.
Laurent, what's that dark bit under the left eye there?
That is a shadow.
Don't you think it would look nicer without a shadow? Oh, well, never mind, Laurent. You've made me look very distinguished.
Oh, Laurent, dear, I can't thank you enough. And you won't even let Camille pay for the paints.
It is I who should thank him for sitting.
Oh, no, we won't let it go at that. We ought to get a bottle of something and christen the painting.
Oh, all right, if you want to. I'm going out to get a frame. I want to hang it in its proper place. Camille, over the mantel.
Oh, and hurry. Michaud and Grivet will be here tonight. It's Thursday.
Yes, I want them in particular to see it.
Oh, such a dear boy. He's just like one of the family.
He's just like a brother. What about some anisette?
What do you think he likes, anisette? Some really good wine might be better, with a few cakes.
He likes anything. He drinks and eats like a wolf.
My dear child, how can you?
That's right, Mama. Scold her. She can't bear him. And he's noticed it. He told me so. I'm not going to let you spoil my friendships. What have you got against him, anyway?
He's always here. He has all his meals here. He's not very amusing. He's greedy and lazy.
Oh, now, Therese. You know Laurent's not very happy. He lives in a dreadful little room, and they feed him very poorly at that little cafe of his. I'm only too glad to have him dine here with us and paint here in the back shop in the evenings, poor boy. He's all alone in the world. Huh. And besides, he's an old friend from Vernon.
All right, just as you like. Coddle him, it's nothing to me.
Mama, I have an idea. I'm going to get champagne. It'll be splendid.
Champagne, yes, that's the least we can do. Oh, and don't forget the cakes.
It's 8:30 now. Our guests won't be here until 9 o'clock. What a surprise! Champagne.
Oh, Therese, dear, light the lamps upstairs, will you? I'm going to light the shop.
Oh. My darling, my love. I waited for you every afternoon to get away from that office. It's been 8 whole days since we've been together. If you hadn't come to me tonight, I'd have done something desperate. I can't stand it any longer.
I know. It's so difficult for us.
You seem frightened. We're quite safe. Who would think that you and I are in love?
Now, don't be silly. I'm not afraid to come here. That's not it.
And you're afraid of me? Afraid I love you too much? Afraid I'll become a nuisance?
No, why do you doubt me? You know that I can't sleep because of you. It's driving me out of my mind. You've awakened something very deep inside of me, Therese. I've become someone else, and it frightens me. It isn't natural to love anyone as I love you. I'm terrified I won't be able to keep up this pretense.
You must.
Did you hear someone?
It's only the dampness. It makes the stairs creak. Oh, Laurent, let our love be free, without fear, without remorse. All my life I've dreamed of being free. Even as a child growing up in the stuffy air of Camille's sick room.
My poor Therese.
I was so unhappy. He used to crouch over the fire, making his everlasting concoctions. If I moved, his mother would scold me. Shh, Camille must not be wakened. Oh, how I dreamed of running away, escaping and running barefoot in the dust. I would have begged like a gypsy.
Not so loud. Madame will hear us.
Let her hear. I never wanted to marry Camille. It was all arranged for me. When I was 12 years old, she came to me and said, "You must love your poor little cousin and take care of him." She wanted a nurse for him, someone to make his herb tea. He was such a puny little thing. Over and over again, she had to fight to save his life. I felt sorry for him. On our wedding night, instead of going into my bedroom on the left of the stairs, I went into Camille's room on the right. And that was all.
Therese. Do you love me?
I love you. I've loved you since Camille brought you into the shop. Do you remember it was the day after the two of you met again at the office? I don't know what sort of love it was. It seemed more like hate. It was so instantaneous. The sight of you drove me mad. The moment you came in, my nerves were strained to the breaking point. I waited for your coming. I longed for it.
I adore you.
You can never know how dull our lives were before you came here. Our only amusement was these Thursday evenings. That silly old Grivet and Michaud with their eternal dominoes. Thursday after Thursday, the same boring jokes. Now I've got my revenge. Tonight, when you're sitting around the table, I shall be taking a wicked delight in our love. When all of you are playing dominoes, there I'll be, doing my embroidery, not saying a word as usual. But in the midst of all this humdrum, I'll be feeling again the ecstasy, beauty of it.
You're talking too loudly. Madame will come up.
Here, nice. You'd better go get that frame. We'll come tomorrow, won't you, at 2 o'clock?
No, it's impossible. Don't expect me.
Impossible, why?
The stupid senior clerk at my office is beginning to notice how much I've been away. He's starting to fire me.
You're leaving me? You won't be seeing me anymore?
No. It's only a matter of being patient. So often I've dreamed of having you to myself for a whole day. The day becomes a month, a year, a lifetime of happiness. A whole lifetime to ourselves for love, to be together. I'd leave my job and I'd start to paint again. We would adore each other, always.
Always, my love.
If only you were free.
We'd be married. Nothing to be afraid of. I dream of that.
Even in this light, your eyes shine. Your shining eyes. Goodbye, Therese.
Laurent, you won't come tomorrow.
You must trust me. If we don't see each other for a little while, you must know it's as difficult for me as it is for you. Soon we'll be together. I promise. Soon, my love.
Only I was free.
Any light?
The fire's so lovely.
Oh, it's you. You frightened me. Why couldn't you speak naturally? You know I don't like to have practical jokes played on me in the dark.
I wasn't joking.
I could hardly see you. You look just like a ghost.
What's the matter now?
It's Therese amusing herself by frightening me. It wouldn't have taken much more to make me drop the champagne. That would have been 3 francs gone.
What? You only paid 3 francs for it?
Yes, I went down to the Boulevard Saint-Michel where I'd seen one in a grocer's marked down. It's just as good as one at 8 francs, Mama. These shopkeepers are all the same, a bunch of frauds. It's only the label that's different. Here are the cakes.
Oh, give them to me. We'll have everything ready when Michaud and Grivet come so that they'll have a surprise. Hand me a couple of plates, Therese.
You will be nice to Grivet, won't you, Therese? He may only be a senior clerk, but he could be very useful to me. He's really quite important. The older men at the office swear that in 20 years he's not been 1 minute late. Monsieur Grivet is punctuality personified. As 9 o'clock strikes in, he will come.
Well, Monsieur Michaud is very punctual, too. When he was superintendent of police at Vernon, he used to come up every night at 8 o'clock on the dot. Don't you remember?
Yes, but I think he's gone all to pieces since he retired to Paris with that niece of his. It's upset him. That Suzanne leads him around by the nose. Oh, there's something I've got to tell you before they arrive.
Yes, what is it?
Well, you remember that I promised to take Thérèse to Suzanne one Sunday before it gets too cold.
Mm-hmm.
She won't go out with me in town. She says I tire her out.
Oh.
Well, I thought it would be a good idea if Thérèse and I went this Sunday and took Laurent with us.
An excellent idea. That will square you with Laurent for the portrait.
And he's such fun in the country, Mama. Do you remember Thérèse last time he came with us to Suzanne? Do you remember? The idiot. He's as wild as a horse.
He drank enough at dinner to make him wild.
You don't seem to understand that people like to enjoy themselves. If I depended on you to make me laugh, it would be pretty dreary at Suzanne. Do you know what she does, Mama? She sits on the ground and she looks at the water. Oh. That must be Laurent. Monsieur Grivet won't be here for another 7 minutes. Laurent?
Yes.
What took you so long?
Oh, that shop is hopeless. What are you two hatching between you?
Try and guess.
You've invited me for dinner tomorrow, and we're having boiled chicken.
Oh, greedy.
Better than that. Much better. On Sunday, I am taking Thérèse to Suzanne, and you are going with us. All right?
Yes, I'd love to come.
Good.
Oh, but you will be careful, won't you? Laurent, I entrust Camille to you. You're so strong. I feel much safer when I know he's with you.
Mama makes me nervous with her everlasting fussing. Do you know that I can't go down to the end of the street without her thinking that something awful has happened? Mama, I don't like to be treated like a little boy always. Now, we'll spend the afternoon on the island, and in the evening, we'll dine at a restaurant on the riverbank. All right?
That's very good, but I have a better idea.
What?
Let's take a boat on the river.
No, no boat. I should worry.
You don't expect Camille to take any chances on the water? He's too frightened.
Me frightened?
Oh, that's right. I forgot you're afraid of the water. Remember when we used to go paddling on the Seine? You would always stay behind, shivering on the bank.
Look, I'm not afraid. We will go boating. Good heavens, you'll all be treating me like an imbecile soon. We'll see who's the most frightened of the three of us. It's Therese who's afraid.
My poor dear, you're frightened at the thought of it.
That's right, Therese. Laugh at me. Go ahead, laugh at me. We'll see.
Oh, Camille, give up the idea,
Mama,
please, darling, for my sake.
Will you please stop nagging at me? You know how I adore the Seine.
Oh, but I can't tell you how this worries me. Camille is so headstrong.
Madame Raquin, don't worry. What is there to be afraid of? I will be there. No, let me hang the portrait.
Ah.
Me? Madame? Ah, there we are.
How wonderful. That must be Monsieur Grivet. 9 o'clock.
Well, am I first? Good evening, Madame Raquin. Camille.
Monsieur Grivet.
Laurent.
Let me take your umbrella.
Thank you.
Is it raining?
Well, it's threatening.
Oh.
Oh, I beg your pardon, madame, but that's not the corner for my umbrella. Not that corner. No. Well, you know my little ways, eh? I like to have it over in this corner. There.
Give me your galoshes.
Oh, no, I'll see to them myself. I look after myself, you know. A place for everything, and everything in its place. There. Now, you see, there's nothing to worry about.
Did you have a pleasant evening, Monsieur Grivet?
Well, sir, I left the office at 4:30. At 6 o'clock, I had dinner at that little Orient restaurant, and I was reading my paper at 7 o'clock at the Café Saturnin. And then, because today's Thursday, instead of going home to bed at 9 o'clock as I usually do, I came here. Oh, how stupid, I almost forgot. There was an enormous crowd at the Rue Saint-André-des-Arts this evening. I had to cross over on the other side of the road. It had quite put me out. You see, I always go to work on the left-hand side of the road, and I come back on the other.
On the right-hand side?
No, on the left-hand side. Oh, yes, I see. No, you see, I go to work on the left-hand side, then I come back on the other, so this now is the left-hand side. Yes, I always travel on the left, like the trains. That way I know where I am.
Well, what was everyone doing on the pavement?
Well, I don't know, should I?
Some kind of an accident, I expect.
Yes, I expect it was an accident. You know, that never occurred to me.
Monsieur Michaud.
You know, it quite relieved my mind, her saying it was an accident.
Monsieur Michaud.
Good evening, Camille.
Monsieur Michaud, how are you?
Laurent?
Inspector?
Monsieur Grivet, I think I'm a
Michaud.
little late.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. It's 6 minutes past 9. It's child's fault. She lives in a world of fantasy. She had to stop and look in every shop window.
Suzanne. Oh, I beg your pardon, monsieur, but that corner is for my umbrella. You know I don't like that. I left that corner for your stick.
Well, let's not worry about it.
You know, I think Grivet is annoyed because he thinks champagne is pretentious. He's looked at the bottle 3 times and he hasn't said a word.
Well, you're going to send us home rolling. Cakes and champagne.
Champagne? Well, you know, I've only tasted that 4 times in my life.
What's the occasion?
We're celebrating Camille's portrait.
Oh.
Laurent finished it this evening. Look.
It's a striking likeness, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
It's only just done. You can smell the paint.
Yes, I noticed the smell. That's the advantage of photographs. They don't smell.
Yes, but when it's dry, Monsieur
Oh,
Grivet.
yes, it'll dry. You know, there was a little bakery in the Rue de la Harpe Took 5 days to dry out. Huh? What a smell that was.
Well, Monsieur Michaud, you like it?
Very good, very good.
Well, Mama, what about some coffee now? We'll have champagne after dominoes.
Yes,
It's
dear.
9:15.
I won't be 5 minutes.
Oh, Madame Raquin, I'll come and help you.
And what is your news, Monsieur Michaud?
Oh, nothing, just taking Suzanne to the Luxembourg doing needlework. Oh, but if it's news you want, there is the tragedy of the Rue Saint-André-des-Arts.
Tragedy? What tragedy? Grivet said he saw a big crowd there.
It's been packed ever since morning. They were all looking up, weren't they?
I don't know. I had to cross over, but there was an accident then, eh?
Well, hardly. In the Hotel Bourgogne, they found a woman's body cut into 4 pieces in a trunk. A trunk belonging to a guest who had disappeared.
Oh, gracious, 4 pieces? How could you cut a woman's body up into 4 pieces?
Horrible.
And I passed the place. And I remember now, they were looking up in the air.
Have they caught the murderer?
No. An old colleague of mine who has the case in hand says the police are absolutely in the dark.
Well, have they established the identity of the victim?
No, the body was naked, and the head was missing.
Good gracious, the head missing. I suppose someone mislaid it. Good grief. You know, when Monsieur Michaud was superintendent of police, he had a number of amusing stories. You remember the one about the gendarme who was buried in a vegetable patch and they found his fingers in a bunch of carrots? He told us that one last autumn. That was a good one, I thought.
Monsieur Michaud, do you think a lot of crimes go unpunished?
Well, yes, worse luck. Disappearances, lingering deaths, stranglings, fatal falls, not a cry heard, not a drop of blood seen. The law's there, but it has no clues. There's more than one murderer walking about in broad daylight.
Why aren't they arrested?
My dear Monsieur Grivet, they are not arrested because we have no clues as to who they are.
There's something wrong with the police, then.
They can't do the impossible. I tell you, there are murderers living who are both loved and respected. Now, don't wag your head, Monsieur Grivet.
I will wag my head. Don't you bully me.
It's quite possible that you have an acquaintance who's a murderer. A man that you shake hands with every day.
Oh, come now, that's not true. If I like, I could tell you a story.
Well, go on then, tell it.
Well, very well, and I will. It's the story of the thieving magpie. I suppose you've heard it. You've heard everything. Well, a short time ago, a servant was thrown into prison for stealing a silver spoon. Now, a few months later, they discovered the spoon in a magpie's nest while they were chopping down a tree, a poplar tree, I think it was. The magpie had stolen that spoon. Well, sir, the prisoner was set at liberty at once. Well, it just goes to show that the culprit is always punished.
Did they put the magpie in jail?
The magpie in jail? The magpie in... Michaud, you're an idiot.
So you know he didn't mean that. You just tried to confuse
The
him.
police are no good, that's all.
What do you think, Laurent? Is it possible for a man to kill somebody and to get away with it?
Well, can't you see that Monsieur Michaud is trying to frighten you with his stories? Anyway, how can he know what he confesses no one else knows? And if there are such clever people about who kill and get away with it, well, good luck to them. I don't believe your wife is so gullible. What do you say, Therese?
What no one knows doesn't exist.
Good heavens, let's change the subject and talk about something else.
Well, I quite agree. Let's talk about something else.
Well, we've forgotten to bring my chair up from downstairs. Will someone please come and help me carry it up?
Well, that's what he calls talking about something else. Fetching his chair. Magpie in prison. Magpie in prison. I tell you, Michaud, for a retired superintendent of police, you're a bit of a fool. You know that. Come on now, get the chair.
Grivet, you get more ridiculous every day.
I swear you'll do as I say.
I belong to you. I'll do anything you want.
Laurent, why didn't you come down instead of leaving it to these two gentlemen?
I stayed behind to make love to your wife.
What? Oh, well, I give you my permission, but be kind to her.
I wish I could. We'll be together soon, Therese. And remember what you just said. What no one knows doesn't exist.
You have to have such a heavy. I'm very sorry.
See why you needed help.
Thank you. It's very good of you. Can you handle it now? Right here. Yes, I'll turn it around by myself. Thank you.
All that nonsense because you were too lazy to come downstairs.
Ah, here's the coffee.
Oh, yes, I know. I was longer than I said.
Ah,
Now, sit down, everybody, and we'll make up for lost time.
Ah, you know, this is delightful. You know, every Thursday morning when I wake up, I say to myself, tonight, you're going to play dominoes at Madame Raquin's. You know, you cannot imagine.
Mama, bring me the dominoes, please.
Yes, dear.
You know, you cannot imagine.
Sugar, Monsieur Grivet?
Oh, sugar, yes, of course. Please, my dear, 2 lumps, if I may. Thank you. You know, you cannot imagine.
Therese, aren't you coming?
Oh, leave her alone. You know she doesn't care for dominoes. And if anybody comes into the shop, she can go down and see to them.
Mama, it's infuriating to have to look at someone who isn't enjoying the fun. Well, Mama, aren't you going to sit down?
Yes, I'm sitting down now.
Madame?
Good. You know, you cannot imagine what...
Monsieur Grivet?
Is everyone ready?
Yes. That we are, and tonight I'm going to wipe up the floor with you. Madame, your coffee's a trifle stronger than it was last Thursday. Oh, but Monsieur Grivet was saying something?
I was saying something? I don't think so.
Yes, you started to say something.
I started to say something? I think you're mistaken.
I am not mistaken. He did, didn't he, Madame? He said, you know you can't imagine.
You know you can't imagine. I don't remember that. Oh, now, look, if this is one of your jokes, Monsieur Michaud, I don't think it's very funny.
Is everyone ready? Very well, then. Let's begin.
You know, you cannot imagine. Good heavens, I forgot what I was going to say. Ah, here's the coffee.
Madame, you must not dwell on your grief. I'll get the dominoes.
Sugar, Monsieur Grivet?
Yes, please, my dear. 2 lumps, if I may. This is sweets from the sweet.
Oh, here we are. Are you all right now, Madame?
Yes.
Is everyone ready?
That we are. And tonight I'm going to wipe up the floor with you. A little brandy in my coffee.
All right. Very well. Let us begin.
With pleasure. Now, each take 7 pieces. And no peeping, Monsieur Michaud, remember. No peeping.
I can't do it. I can't. When I see you all around this table, just as we used to be.
Oh, Madame, you must be sensible.
Oh, please forgive me. I can't help it. You remember how he loved to play dominoes? He always used to turn them out of the box himself, exactly as Laurent did just now. We used to have such happy evenings. And now his chair is empty.
Madame, you must get hold of yourself.
Please don't cry.
Perhaps we'd better not play, then. It's a pity it affects you this way. Your tears can't bring him back.
We're all of us mortal, you know.
Alas, yes.
Well, you only want to distract your mind from your sorrows. We'll play the best 2 out of 3, shall we?
Just a moment. Give her a little time. All of us grieve for dear Camille.
Oh, you're all so kind. Please don't be cross with me for spoiling the game.
It's a year now since it happened. You should be able to take it more calmly.
I haven't counted the days. I cry because the tears just come. Oh, he must have suffered so. I had a terrible premonition. I begged him not to go out on the water, but he wanted to show he wasn't afraid. Oh, if you only knew how I nursed him when he was a baby. For 3 whole weeks when he had typhoid, I held him on my knees without ever going to bed.
But you still have Thérèse and Laurent. It'll always be a grief to Laurent that he wasn't able to drag Camille to the bank, too. You mustn't be selfish in your grief. You're upsetting Laurent.
Ah, these memories are so painful.
You did what you could. It was an unavoidable accident.
See, the canoe capsized when you ran into one of those stakes they used to hold up to eel nets, didn't it?
That's what I thought. The jolt threw the 3 of us into the water.
Thank heaven you were able to save Therese.
I was paddling and she was sitting very close to me. All I had to do was reach out and grab her dress. Then I dived in after Camille, but he had disappeared. He was sitting in the front of the canoe with his hands trailing the water, making jokes about the soup being cold by the time we got back to the inn.
You behaved like a hero. You went in 3 times.
Oh, I quite agree. There was a magnificent article about it in the paper the next day. It said Laurent should have a medal. And then there was another article over a month later when they found poor Camille's body.
Monsieur Grivet, will you hold your tongue? Madame was just calming down, and now you have to go and rake up all those details.
Well, I'm sorry, but you began
You told us about that article of yours 100 times. It's in bad taste.
You know, you began it.
Damn it all, you began it.
And don't blame me.
Don't quarrel. I'll be sensible. I won't cry anymore. Oh, I'm aware of what I owe to all of you. Give me your hand, Laurent, dear. You're not angry.
Yes, I am, with myself. But I couldn't bring them both back to you.
You're my child, and I love you. I pray for you every night because you tried to save my boy. I ask God to watch over you.
Dear Madame.
There. Now then. Whose turn is it?
You really want to play?
Yes.
Oh, good. Whose turn is it?
Mine.
Oh.
Excuse me, Therese, I must tell someone about the Blue Prince.
The Blue Prince?
It's quite a story. I'll whisper it. There's no need for Uncle to know. He's a young man. He wears a blue suit and has a blonde mustache.
Take care, your uncle is listening.
No. You passed 5 a minute ago, and now you're laying down 5 all over the place.
5? I passed 5?
Yes.
I think you're mistaken, monsieur.
There's no need to worry about Uncle when he's playing dominoes. Now, this young man used to come to the Luxembourg every day. Uncle always sits under the 3rd tree on the left along the terrace. And the Blue Prince used to sit under the 4th tree and read. Every time he'd turn a page, he'd smile at me.
Is that all?
Yes, that's all that happened in the Luxembourg.
Is that the end of the story?
Oh, no, that's where it begins. The day before yesterday, Uncle went out and left me all alone with Hortense. Oh, she's such a boring thing. So, to amuse myself, I set up the big telescope. You remember the one that Uncle had at Vernon? Well, you can see more than 5 miles through it. From our roof, you can see quite a lot of Paris, you know. Well, I was looking in the direction of Saint-Sulpice. You know, there's some very fine statues at the foot of the large tower.
Oh, come. 6. Hurry up.
6? I know it's 6. Now, let me work it out.
And the Blue Prince?
Oh, now, don't be impatient. I saw chimneys. Chimneys, scores of them. The whole telescope was full of them. And suddenly, between 2 chimney pots, whom do you think I saw? The Blue Prince.
He's a chimney sweep?
Oh, no, of course not. He was on the chimney, on the roof, the same as I was. And the funny thing is, he was looking through a telescope, too. Oh, I recognized him at once with his blue suit and his blonde mustache. Not much taller than this. Like a little china figure. I don't know if he's real or just something one sees through a telescope. So far away. When he does this, I draw back, and then I see nothing but gray. And he isn't there any longer, however hard I stare.
Very sweet. But keep him in your glass forever, as your dream prince.
Domino! You lost the game, Monsieur Grivet.
Yes, you're the better man.
Oh, Laurent, dear, since you're up, would you get me my sewing basket?
Yes.
It should be on the chest of drawers in my room. Take a light.
Well, that's all right. I don't need one.
You have a real son there, madame. He's so kind.
He's been so good to us. I give him little jobs to do, and in the evenings he helps me shut up shop.
I saw him selling needles in the shop the other day like a shop girl. Well, a shop girl with a beard. Now, let me just count up here now. 7. What have we done?
I did, now.
10.
Why, whatever's the matter?
Are you ill?
Did you bump into something?
I thought I saw something. Must be my eyes.
And what about my sewing basket?
Basket. Oh, I couldn't find it.
You look as if you've seen a ghost.
I'm sorry, madame, I couldn't find the basket.
Oh, well, just a minute. I'll find it. And if I meet your ghost, I'll bring him back to you.
I'm sorry. I'm all right now.
As a matter of fact, I've noticed you haven't been looking well for quite a while. Ah, you found it.
It was right on the chest of drawers.
Thanks.
I didn't see your ghost. I expect I frightened him away. Oh, don't worry. I'll see to it.
She's a good girl, you know?
She is.
Now, you agree. You have 32, and I have 28.
Yes, yes.
You know, it's not cozy around here anymore.
Well, can you wonder? When death strikes a house, it... But cheer up. I have a plan to bring happiness back to this house.
You're afraid, aren't you?
Yes. Shall I come to you tonight?
We must be discreet. We mustn't make any mistake.
A whole year we've been discreet. I haven't had you to myself for a whole year. We're free now. We wouldn't be afraid if we were together now.
Don't let's spoil the future. We need so much happiness.
You must have faith in me. There will be peace when we're in each other's arms. We wouldn't be frightened if we were together. Can I come to you tonight?
No. On our wedding night.
Therese, I need you.
Be careful.
Madame, have you any bright green velvet ribbon?
Oh, you go down, Therese, dear, will you?
Have you noticed, Therese, madame, how pale she looks? She can scarcely hold up her head.
It's like that all day long. Her eyes are heavy, her hands tremble.
Yes. She has that consumptive color in her cheeks.
Yes, you noticed that first, Laurent, dear. Now I see it getting worse. It seems I'm to be spared nothing.
Oh, it's nerves. She'll get over it.
No, I don't think she will. She's had a terrible loss. As long silences, that sad smile. It's as if she's saying goodbye to us. I think she will gradually fade away.
Oh, my dear fellow, you're not much of a comfort to her, you know. You ought to try and cheer her up a bit instead of piling on the gloom.
No, he's right. The sickness is in her heart. She doesn't want to be consoled. Every time I try to reason with her, she gets impatient, angry. She shuts herself away like a wounded animal.
I think we will have to resign ourselves to it.
She's all I have left now. Oh, I'm so unhappy. I don't know what's come to this house.
Perhaps we'd better not play anymore.
Oh, but madame, at Therese's age, one's not inconsolable. Did she cry very much the night of the tragedy at Suzanne?
No, she doesn't cry easily. It was a kind of dumb grief, as though her mind and body were utterly exhausted. She seemed stupefied. She's become very nervous.
How do you mean, nervous?
One night, I never told you this, I heard stifled sobbing. I went into her, of course, but she didn't recognize me. She was muttering.
Well, it must have been a nightmare. Did she say anything? What did she say?
Oh, I couldn't understand. She was calling for Camille. She's afraid to come in here anymore after dark without a light. In the morning, she seems utterly tired out. She drags herself about. Oh, it breaks my heart. It really does.
Yeah. Well, Madame, I'll tell you exactly what I think. But first of all, will you gentlemen excuse us?
You mean you want to be alone with Madame?
Yes. Very well, we'll go. But remember, you owe me 2 games, Monsieur Michaud. So call us when you're ready. Eh?
Yes, we'll call you. Now, Madame, I'm a blunt man.
If only we could help her. What's your advice, Michaud?
Therese must be married.
Marriage? No, that's impossible. Well, you can see what a state she's in. She hasn't forgotten my poor boy. I don't think it's very nice of you to suggest it, Michaud. No. Camille is still her husband in her heart. She couldn't marry again. It would be sacrilege.
I only know that when a woman is afraid to go into her room at night, it's a husband she needs.
Bring a stranger into our home. Old woman like me, it would worry me. And we might make a bad choice. That would spoil any chance of peace we might have left.
Well, naturally, it'd have to be a decent man who'd be a good husband for Therese and a good son to you. Someone who could take Camille's place. Laurent.
Laurent?
Certainly, they'd make a splendid couple. My dear old friend, this is my advice. Get them married.
Laurent and Therese?
I know I'd surprise you. I've been cherishing this scheme for some time. Now think it over. Trust my judgment. And if you decide to see Therese married again, and remember, it'll be for your happiness, where could you find a better husband for her than Laurent?
But I look upon them as brother and sister.
But think of yourself. I want you all to be happy. You'd have 2 children.
Why, you're almost beginning to convince me, but... No, I'm afraid we'd be doing wrong. It's only been a year. Camille would punish us for forgetting him so soon.
Now, who said anything about forgetting? Laurent talks about him all the time. Camille would always be a member of the family. And it's the only way to avoid bringing a stranger into the house. I hope it won't be long before you have grandchildren on your knee.
Oh.
You're smiling. I knew I should make you smile.
Oh, I'm wrong. I'm wrong to smile. I'm still very troubled about it. They'll never agree.
They're too sensible not to see that this marriage is necessary for the household's happiness. That's the line to take. The household's happiness. Now, I'll go down and settle with Laurent, and I'll send Therese up to you. We'll announce the engagement this evening.
My dear child, what's the matter? You haven't spoken a word all evening. Try not to be so unhappy, for the sake of our friends. I know. We can't always control our grief.
It's just that everything in me seems numb.
Oh, my dear child, I wish there was some way I could console you. Now answer me frankly.
I'm very tired.
No, I want you to answer me. You live too much alone here. It's unnatural to go on grieving forever at your age.
What is it you're trying to say to me?
Nothing, my dear. I'm only trying to find out what's wrong. Oh, I know it can't be very cheerful for you living here with a sad old woman. This house is so dark, so dismal. Perhaps you'd like to...
I don't want anything.
Now, listen to me and don't be cross with me. We've had a kind of an idea. It may be stupid, but... Well, we thought of getting you married again.
Married? No, never, never.
That's what I told them. I said you could never forget my boy, that he was always in your heart. But they're right, my child. This house is too sad. No one ever comes here. It would do no harm to think over what they say.
No.
You should marry again. I can't remember what it was Michaud said to convince me, but I agreed with him, and I promised to try and persuade you.
Can't you leave me in peace? My heart is dead to all that. Me marry. And who is the man?
They've had a splendid idea. They've thought of someone. Michaud's downstairs now talking to him. Laurent.
Laurent. So you thought of Laurent. But I don't love him. I don't want to love him.
But they're right, really, they are. Laurent's like one of the family. You know how kind he is. What a help he's been to us. Oh, I felt just as you do when they first suggested it. It didn't seem right somehow, but when I thought it over, it seemed to me that you'd feel less, well, unfaithful if you were to marry his friend, the friend who saved your life.
But I'm still mourning. I want to go on mourning.
Yes, I know, but you must stop. I will, and so must you. You see, they want us to be happy. It would be to me like having 2 children. It would bring me such comfort, such joy. Ah, I'm being selfish, you see. I want to see you smile again. Say that you will do it. For me, Therese?
My only wish has been to please you. You know that.
Yes, you're a good girl. A good child. It would make us all happy. We'll start a whole new life. Laurent will love us both. I'll share him with you.
My dear aunt, all the same, I wish you'd left me with my memories.
Does that mean that you will?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, my dear.
I persuaded him to... My word, it took a bit of difficulty. He only agreed because, for your sake. Therese?
She agreed.
I'm delighted for all
I
of
was
you.
considered quite a catch in my salad days.
Oh, now then, tell me, Monsieur Grivet, you never got married because it would interfere with your little ways, huh?
You hit the nail on the head.
Oh, you're a dreadful man.
You know, the young people today seem to think it's fun to get married. No, I tried to do it 5 times. The last time was to a school teacher. Banns were published, everything was going along swimmingly. And then one morning she said to me that she liked tea for breakfast. Oh. Tea for breakfast. I detest tea. For 20 years now I have had my chocolate. I tell you, it would have ruined my life. Well, sir, I just broke it off. Well, I think I was right, don't you?
Oh, certainly.
Still, it is a good thing when young people get along together, you know. Monsieur Michaud here seems to think that Therese and Laurent were made for each other.
He was quite right.
They both agreed.
Ah, splendid. Splendid. How does that old poem go? When a well-matched pair is wed, happy is the marriage bed. Good gracious, it's 11:15.
Monsieur Michaud and I have been talking. Madame, I feel like a son to you. And I always think of you as my mother. I want to make you happy.
Thank you, my boy.
Therese, are you willing to make our mother happy?
Yes, I am. It is our duty.
My children, Marry her, Laurent. Cherish her. Camille will thank you. He'll understand. You've made me very happy.
The bride's room. No.
It's a joke.
Oh.
Did you get the thistles? It's in my pocket. Very uncomfortable in shirts they were, too.
Now, gentlemen, you cannot stay here while we're undressing the bride.
Dressing the bride? What a delightful idea. If you have any difficulty, possibly we can be of assistance.
I've never seen Uncle so jolly. He was as red as a beetroot by the end of dinner.
Oh, let them have their little joke. We can forgive it on a wedding night. There used to be plenty of fun at Vernon. Those poor bridal couples, they couldn't get a wink of sleep all night.
Good gracious, this bed is comfortable. Come feel it, Monsieur Michaud.
Must be at least 3 mattresses. Did you get the thistles in?
In the middle.
You're keeping the bride waiting, gentlemen.
Are you two ever going? What
Yes, we're going now.
Good night, madame. My congratulations.
Thank you both.
You're not angry with this,
Oh,
are you?
how could I be angry with dear old friends on a wedding night?
God bless you. Good night. Good
Now,
night.
you're not to come back. The bridegroom is the only one who has a right to come in, and then only when we let him in. Now, go away.
You'd better get undressed, Therese. It's nearly 3 o'clock.
I'm worn out. The ceremony, then that drive, then the never-ending dinner. Let me be, just for a little, please.
Yes, it was hot in the restaurant. It gave me a headache. But I felt better when I was in the cab. But it's you who ought to be tired. The doctor said you're not to do too much.
Oh, he said that a sudden shock might be fatal, that's all. But today I felt so calm and happy. Everything went so well, I thought, didn't you? Just right.
Well, everyone was crying. Therese didn't look much like laughing either.
You must get undressed, my child.
Oh, in a minute. Go on talking.
I know. Shall I be your maid? Oh, do let me. Then you won't tire yourself.
Give me your hat.
Now, turn around so I can undo you.
You do bully me, don't you?
It's getting late.
Husband, it must be awful. A friend of mine who got married simply cried and cried. You hardly pull yourself in at all at the waist, and you're quite small. No, you're right to wear your bodices long. Oh, dear, a pin. I ought to go get Monsieur Grivet to come help.
I'm shivering. Hurry up, dear.
Oh, well, we'll go by the fire. Oh, it was so cold in church, I started sneezing. Oh, it's simply lovely, this silk. It would stand alone. Oh, hey, but you're trembling. Like Thisbe when I tickle her. Thisbe's the cat that Uncle gave me.
I think I have a cold coming on.
Oh, there now. Last hook I finished. Now I'll do your hair for the night, shall I?
That's right.
You're so flushed. Before you were pale as a ghost.
The firelight.
Put your head down a bit. Oh, what lovely hair you have. Tell me. Oh, I'm afraid I'm inquisitive. You're trembling. Is it because your heart is beating so hard?
My heart is not 17 years old like yours, my dear.
All day long I've been thinking that if I were in your place, oh, I should be such a silly little stupid. So I decided to watch you and see how you got ready for your wedding night. Then perhaps when my turn comes, I won't seem so stupid. You're a little sad. I don't think Platts, do you? But if you promise not to laugh, I'll tell you what I should be feeling if I were in your place. I should be happy. Happier than I've ever been in my life. It would be like walking above the clouds in heaven and coming to a strange place. Oh, a beautiful place with the loveliest music and the most exquisite flowers. And I would be drawn into a high, dazzling light. Is that how you feel?
Music, flowers, a great light. All the springtime of youth and love.
Oh, you're still shivering.
I'm going to warm your dressing room.
Get warm, I've got cold.
And while my prince was waiting, just as Monsieur Laurent is waiting now, I should take a wicked delight in making him impatient. And then when he came to the door, I'd want to run away so that he couldn't find me. And then, well, I don't know. I'm dizzy when I think of it.
Don't think of it, then. Children think of nothing but dolls, flowers, and husbands.
Life is harsher than that.
Oh, but isn't that how you feel?
Yes. I wish it was not winter and not in this room. In Vernon, in May, the acacias in bloom, and the night's warm.
Oh, now put on your nice warm dressing gown. Oh, you look so lovely. You're a real bride now.
Now we're going to leave you alone, my child.
Oh, no, not alone. Wait a minute, there's something else.
Shh, don't say anything. All day long, my heart was so full. But I was happy in spite of it. We must put away the past.
Yes, you're right. Good night.
Is anything troubling you? Are you keeping something from me? It's your happiness that's made me able to bear this. Love your husband. He deserves all the love and affection we can give him. Love him as you loved.
The flowers must have cost a great deal. It was very thoughtful of you.
I know how you love the spring. You can imagine that you're in Suzanne's dream. In the clouds, in heaven. There, now you're smiling. Good night, my dear child.
Aren't you going to kiss me, too?
Yes, Suzanne.
Good night.
Good night.
Oh, this room and the flowers is so thrilling.
Not yet. I'm cold.
At last, we're alone. Therese, my Therese. They've all gone. And we're free to love each other. Our life is our own. This is our room. And you're mine. My dear wife.
Well, I'm shivering with cold.
My poor darling, I'll warm your feet with my hands. The time has come at last. We waited a whole year for tonight. A whole year. We've earned it, haven't we? Haven't we? It was worth all we've suffered.
Yes.
Therese, why are you trembling? I'm your husband. You didn't tremble when I used to come to you in the old days. You'd laugh. And you used to talk so loudly that people might have heard us. Now you're talking so quietly as if there was someone listening on the other side of the wall. Now we can talk as we like, and laugh, and make love. No one is going to disturb us, Therese. This is our wedding night.
Don't say that. Don't say it. You're pale too, Laurent. Paler than I am. We haven't the courage to love. We aren't ordinary married people. Let's talk of something else. The wind was very high today.
Yes. Very cold, too. But it did go down a bit this afternoon.
I hope the apricot trees will be late in flowering this year.
Yes, the frost in March is bad for the fruit trees. You remember in Vernon?
Vernon? I was a little girl. Is it 4 o'clock yet, do you think?
No, I don't think so.
It's extraordinary how long the night is. Did you feel the same as I did today? I didn't like being in the carriage very much and driving about for hours, and I hate meals at restaurants.
Yes.
I wouldn't say that about the country, though.
No. There's some very good places to eat in the country. You remember the little inn by the river?
Why do you wake up those memories to go over the whole ghastly story again? Don't let's talk anymore. Behind all your words, I hear other words. While you're talking, I hear what you're thinking. You've got as far as the accident, hadn't you? Don't answer.
Therese, say something, please. I can't bear this silence. Talk to me.
Shut your eyes. Try to think of nothing.
I want to hear the sound of your voice. Therese, say something. Anything. As you did before. That the weather is bad, the night is long.
Even when I try, I can't stop thinking. But you're right. The silence is no good. We must go on talking. My feet were like ice this morning, but I warmed them over the grating in church. Did you see the grating? It was close to where we knelt down.
Yes. Grivet planted himself on the top of it all through the service. He looked triumphant, the old devil. He was very funny, wasn't he?
The church was rather dark. It was the weather. Did you notice the lace on the altar cloth? There's nothing so good in the shop. The smell of the incense made me feel ill. It was so sweet. At first, I thought we were the only people there in that great empty church, and I was glad. Then I heard chanting. You must have seen it. In a chapel on the other side of the nave.
I thought I saw people carrying tapers.
It was a funeral. When I raised my eyes, I saw the black pall with a white cross. The coffin came quite close to us. I saw it. It was a little, narrow, shabby coffin, so miserable. When you went to the morgue, you saw him, didn't you?
Yes.
Did he look as if he'd suffered much?
Horribly.
His eyes were open and he was looking at you, wasn't he?
Yes. He looked dreadful. He was blue. And his face was bloated with the water. And he was grinning. The corner of his mouth was all twisted.
Grinning? Oh, tell me everything. Tell me. When I couldn't sleep at night, I could never see his face clearly, and I must see his face. I must think of his face, Laurent. Tell me everything, please.
Stop it! I was lying. I saw nothing. What kind of a fool game are we playing?
I knew we'd break in spite of ourselves. Everything's been leading to this. The apricot trees in flower, the little inns by the river, the coffin. We shall never again be able to talk of ordinary things. He's there behind all our thoughts.
Therese.
All the time I knew perfectly well you were talking of him. I was talking of him. We can't help it.
Therese, kiss me. Therese, kiss me. That's why we're married. So that we can find peace in each other's arms. Kiss me. Kiss me and let's forget about him.
Oh, no, please. Please. Help me. Be kind to me. Be as you used to be. Laurent, don't leave me. I belong to you. I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be in the dark. I wouldn't let it kiss me. What's the matter with me? My lips. I felt that if he kissed me, I should die. Oh, God. He's come back. Camille has come back for my wedding night. He's knocking on the bed. He's calling me from my pillow. Go away. Camille, it's my love. It's a beautiful thought, Laurent. Thank you. I remember your signal. Laurent, darling, my love. I knew you'd come. I was sure of it. It's been so long since we've been together like this.
I couldn't sleep because of you. And I used to dream of the time we'd be together, always. Tonight, my beloved, that dream has come true. You're here in my arms, forever. Kiss me, my wife.
No. What's the use of pretending we aren't in love any longer? We killed love. Even in my arms, I feel you frozen.
Therese, you belong to me. Now give yourself to me. I'll take away your fears. It would be too cruel if we couldn't love each other anymore. Therese, put your arms around me.
No.
Can't you see how absurd it is to spend the night like this? After all those times when we risk so much?
Camille will come. Our kisses will draw him here. I'm afraid. No.
Camille?
It is. See it.
There in the shadows.
Behind me.
He's not moving. He's looking at us. All the time he's looking at us. He's just the same as he was then. Pale. Or covered with mud. The same crooked smile.
That is his portrait you're looking at.
His portrait.
The one you painted, don't you remember?
His portrait. I saw the eyes move. They're moving again. Take it down.
I dare not.
Please, take it down! And I'll burn it. And maybe we'll be able to love each other. His eyes. I tell you, his eyes are moving. They're following me. They won't leave me alone. Look at him. He's just the same. The same as he was when we threw him into the river. The same crooked smile.
Ah! You killed him. Killed him. My boy, my little one. Murderers! Murder! I'll punish you. Joe.
Yes. Look at her eyes. They're wild. She's threatening us. May God turn her lips to stone.
tired of seeing my prince over there against the sky in the midst of the chimney pots. He looked like one of those angels in my prayer book, with clouds all around his feet. Pretty, but after a time, boring, you know. So on my birthday, I asked Uncle to give me a map of Paris.
A map of Paris?
Yes, Uncle was rather surprised, too. But the minute I had it, I set to work. I drew lines with my ruler, and then I measured with my compass, and then I added and multiplied. And then when I thought I'd found the prince's rooftop, I marked it with a pen. The next day, I had Uncle go along the street where his house ought to be.
Dear Suzanne, what a nice story. Almost 5 o'clock. Laurent will be home soon.
Well, what's the matter?
So you discovered the house with your map?
No, I did not. If you only knew where my map led me. One day, it took me to a huge place that makes furniture polish, and another to a school. Or a prison, I don't know which. But you're not laughing. That's very funny. Aren't you well?
Yes. I was just thinking my husband would be coming.
Well, then one afternoon, I went to Saint-Sulpice flower market. I wanted some nasturtiums for the roof. And whom do you think I saw there? The Blue Prince, loaded with flowers. Oh, he had pots in his pockets, pots in his hands. He looked so embarrassed when he caught sight of me. And then he followed me. He kept dropping his pots. Later, he and Uncle became friendly, and now he's asked for my hand. And now I'm going to marry him. So, there you are. Have you been listening?
Yes. It's a lovely story. And now you will live happily ever after, surrounded by everything that's gay and beautiful. Dear child with your bluebird. 5 o'clock. Let's lay the table.
Well, I'll help you. How is poor Madame Raquin today?
She still can't move or speak, but I don't think she suffers at all.
It's a cruel thing, paralysis. It's as if she'd been suddenly turned into stone. When I see her sitting in her chair with her white head so erect and her hands so very pale in her lap, it makes me think of those terrifying statues on tombs and in churches. I don't know why, but it terrifies me. She can't raise her hands, can she?
Her hands and her legs are dead.
Dreadful. Uncle says that she can't hear or understand. He thinks it would be good if her mind goes entirely.
He's wrong. She can hear and understand everything. Her mind is quite clear and her eyes are alive.
You're both so good to her.
We're only doing our duty.
You two are the only ones who can understand what she's saying with her eyes, aren't you? I can't understand her at all. Monsieur Grivet pretends to know her slightest wish, but his answers are all at cross purposes. Does the doctor give her much hope?
Very little.
You must go on hoping. I don't see Monsieur Laurent here these days.
Since he left the office and started painting again, he often leaves in the morning and doesn't come back until the evening. He's working very hard.
He's become very dignified. His laugh is quieter, and he looks so distinguished. You won't be angry with me if I tell you something, will you? I shouldn't have wanted him as a husband as he used to be, but oh, now I think he's most attractive. I'll tell you something else if you promise to keep it a secret.
I don't gossip.
No, you don't. You keep everything to yourself. Well, then, yesterday, Uncle and I were going by Monsieur Laurent's studio in the Rue Mazarin. And suddenly, Uncle decided we'd go up. Well, you know how Monsieur Laurent hates being disturbed at his work. But all the same, he didn't receive us too badly. And you'll never guess what he's working at.
A big picture?
No, the canvas full of big pictures still quite blank. We found him surrounded by small canvases, sketches of faces. And Uncle, who's quite a critic, was very taken with them. He says that your husband's become a great painter. Oh, it wasn't flattery, because he didn't think much of him before. But what surprised me most was that they all resembled someone. They were all like...
Like whom?
Like poor Monsieur Camille.
You imagined it.
Oh, no, I didn't. The children's faces, And the women's faces and the old men's faces, they all had something that reminded me of him. They were all rather pale, and they had a crooked little smile. Oh, if that's Monsieur Laurent, don't say anything. I expect he wants to give you a surprise with all those heads.
Oh, good evening, Suzanne.
Good evening.
Have you both been working hard?
Yes.
I'm worn out.
Well, painting must be very tiring. All that standing.
Well, I haven't been painting today. I took a walk to San Clou and back. Did me good. Dinner ready, Therese?
Yes.
Well, I'm just going.
Your uncle promised to come and fetch you. You must wait for him.
Oh, if that's a customer, I'll see to her.
Why didn't you put that mattress away? There's no need for people to know we used two beds.
You could have put it away yourself this morning before you left.
Now, don't start a quarrel with me.
As soon as you come in, all hell opens.
Your tongue is even sharper than mine, my sweet Therese.
You're going to fetch her in for a dinner? Michaud is coming. I'm always terrified when she's here with him. I've seen a look in her eyes for some time now. You'd better wait until he and Suzanne have gone.
Well, what can she tell him? She can't even lift her little finger.
Where's Uncle?
Oh,
Good afternoon, Laurent. Well, table's all laid, I see.
That's right, Monsieur Michaud.
We won't stay but a minute. How's my dear Madame Raquin?
About the same. But I know she'll be glad to see you. She looks forward to your visits.
Well, here's the dear lady herself.
We all love you very much.
How her eyes shine. She's pleased to see us.
Oh, I'll see to it.
We're old friends, aren't we, you and I? Do you remember when I was superintendent of police? It's the time of the Gorgeolou murder, I think, that we first met. Oh, you remember that woman and the man who murdered a van driver? I arrested them myself. They were guillotined at Rouen.
Ah, that's your story of the van driver, eh?
Yes.
Oh, I like that. Very amusing, I thought. Well, the first time. Good evening, everybody.
Right?
And what are you doing here at this hour of the day?
Well, I've come to have a little chat with Madame Raquin. Oh, but I see you're about to have a meal. Am I disturbing you?
No, not at all.
She and I get on so well together. We understand each other.
Well, then perhaps you can understand what she's trying to say to me. She's staring at me so hard.
Well, in a minute, I can read her eyes like a book. Yeah, let me there, eh? Now, let's have a nice, friendly little chat, shall we? Is there anything that you want to ask Monsieur Michaud? Is there? No? Nothing at all, eh? Just as I thought. You were flattering yourself. It's me she wants to talk to, not you at all. Now, what is it that you want, eh? Oh, I understand. You're hungry.
Would you like us to go?
No, it's all right.
You're hungry, and she's invited me to play a game of dominoes this evening. I'm terribly sorry, Madame Raquin. I'll have to decline your invitation. You know, my little ways, but I promise you I'll come in on Thursday.
She didn't say anything at all to you. You're making this up. Now, let me try again.
What?
You're right. There's a terrible look in her eyes.
Now, Madame, why are you looking at me like that? If you could only find some way of telling me what it is that you want.
I told you what you wanted. It's quite plain.
Can't you make us understand? Look, Laurent, she stares at me so strangely.
Well, I don't see anything strange about her.
Therese, you can always understand what she wants, can't you?
Yes, you try to help her, please.
You're mistaken. She doesn't want anything. She's the same as usual. That's right, isn't it? You don't want anything, do you?
Well, perhaps Monsieur Grivet's right.
Of course I'm right. She's hungry, and she's invited me to a game of dominoes.
Look, her fingers are moving.
Just what you're your old self again. Look at your fingers. They're dancing a jig.
What? She's managed to lift her hand and put it on the table.
Look, she's making signs with her fingers.
What's she doing on the tablecloth?
It's quite clear she just made a capital T.
Good heavens. She's writing. No, not too fast, not too fast. I'll try and read it. No, begin again. I couldn't get that. It's amazing. Tea, that's it. She wants some tea.
No, she wrote Therese.
Monsieur Grivet, you don't know how to read. Therese. And, yes. Go on, madame.
Her hand from the grave. I won't let her finish.
You'll ruin everything.
Thérèse and Laurent. She's written your names.
This is my way. It's wonderful. Both your names. Wonderful.
Thérèse and Laurent have. Yes. What have they?
Oh, dear, she stopped. Oh, dear.
No. Madame, finish the sentence. Just one more try. Oh, your hand's fallen.
Oh, what's
Thought
the
it
pity?
was
I
the
wish
head.
she'd finished that sentence.
We're
It's a pity
safe now,
she
aren't
did.
we?
I wonder
The
what
hand
she
is
wanted
dead.
to say.
Pull yourself together.
That Therese and Laurent have made her so happy with all their kindness.
Well, of course. You're so much quicker than we are, my dear. Thérèse and Laurent have made me very happy. Thérèse and Laurent have my blessing. That's the way the sentence ends, isn't it, madame? Oh, you're such dear souls.
Oh, well, Michaud, you would have done the same.
They've had their rewards. You know what they call them in the neighborhood? They call them a pair of turtle doves.
Well, Grivet, you and I must leave and let them finish their dinner. Those little hands will come to life again, and so will the legs. It's a good sign that you were able to move your fingers today. You'll soon be well again. Good night, dear madame.
Good night, madame.
And we'll play a game of dominoes on Thursday, won't we? And we'll beat Monsieur Michaud. You wait and see, we'll beat him. Good night, my turtle doves.
Good night.
Good night, everyone. Good, Michaud. Us away.
Quiet. Leave her alone.
You'd think she would spare us if she could speak. Michaud and Grivet were smiling rather queerly when they talked about our happiness. You'll find out in the end, you'll see. Grivet went out with his hat on the side of his head, didn't he?
Yes, I think so.
And the way he said, "Good night, my turtle doves." There's something frightening and sinister about that idiot.
Don't exaggerate things.
When he screws up his mouth. You know? In a way that makes him look so stupid. I feel he's laughing at us. I never trust people who pretend to be fools. I think he knows everything.
They're far too simple. and go on treading a peaceful, humdrum, self-satisfied way through the horrors of our life. Let's talk of something else.
I have no spoon. Aren't you going to give her anything to eat?
Yes? When I finish my soup.
It's terrible. You made it too salty again. You do it for spite, don't you? You know I hate salt.
Laurent, please don't pick a quarrel. Can't you see I'm tired? I've had all I can bear.
Yeah, that's right. Take a martyr of yourself.
You want us to quarrel, don't you?
I want you to stop talking to me as you do.
You do? All right, then. Just as you like. We won't have any dinner again tonight.
And who starts it? You're not happy until you make me angry.
I didn't say the soup was salty, did I? And the excuse will do. You magnify the smallest trifle and fly into a fury. Tell me the truth, Laurent. You like to fight with me the whole evening, don't you? To exhaust yourself so you can sleep at night when you go to bed.
I don't sleep any more than you do.
Oh, you've made our life hideous. I dread the night with its terror.
Yes, well, it's your fault.
My fault, did you say? My fault you've made everything impossible, full of fear and hate.
Yes! It's your fault!
Stop it! Do you think I don't know you? You've always been on the lookout for the easy chance. When you took me for your mistress, it was because it cost you nothing. Deny it.
Now, which of us is trying to pick the quarrel now?
I hate you. You killed Camille.
Don't force me to remind you of the facts again. To go over the whole story in front of her.
Let her hear. Let her suffer. I've suffered. The truth is you killed Camille.
I may have been the one to throw him into the river, but it was you who drove me to murder him. Yes, you! Don't pretend you don't know. Confess your guilt. Accept your share.
It wasn't I who killed Camille.
It was you. It was. I whispered to you, I'm going to throw him in the river. And you agreed. You killed him, too.
It wasn't that I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't want you to kill him.
You clung to my neck and you let him drown.
It was you who killed him.
And then in the carriage on the way back, you put your hand in mine. I was burning.
It was you.
No, you don't remember. You don't want to remember. You drove me insane with love for you here in this room. You put me against your husband. You wanted to get rid of him. You didn't want him. He was always ill.
It was you who killed him.
Twice you've made me act like a wild beast. From adultery, you led me to murder before I realized what was happening. No. When I look back on what I've done, I'm terrified.
It was you who killed him.
You coward. Why do you deny your share in what we did? Why? You want to make my burden heavier, don't you? Well, you've driven me too far this time. I'm going to end it now. I'll tell the whole story to the police.
It's a good idea.
You'll arrest the both of us. We'll see what the judge thinks about your innocence.
You think I'm afraid? I'm as sick and tired of this as you are. If you don't go to the police, I will.
I'll go, and I'll tell them everything.
Whenever we fight, you make the same threat. But I'm not a coward like you. Let's go. I'm coming with you.
All right, just as you like. We'll go and see the inspector together.
He's gone down. Will he have the courage to give us up? Suppose he shouts it out in the street. Suppose he tells the people he meets. God, I shouldn't have driven him so far. I should have had more sense. He's still in the shop. The bell hasn't rung. What can he be doing? He's coming back up. I knew it was too much a coward. Coward! any blood in your veins. I'm sorry for you.
I can't do it.
You're weaker than I. How do you think we could ever forget?
You admit you had a share in it.
I'm guilty, more guilty than you, if you like. I ought to have stopped you. Camille was a good man.
Now, don't start it all over again, please! I can't take any more. But don't look at me. Don't you smile at me. This is the only way. The only way for me. 2 drops. Prussic acid.
I dare you to drink it. You're too much a coward. Go on, Laurent, drink it. Drink a drop of it just to see.
You stop nagging at me.
I'm not worried you won't drink it.
Get away from me!
I hate you. I see your hand stained with my husband's blood.
Be quiet! I can't stand hearing about him any longer. I can't stand it. He's with me always. Always. I can't get away from him. He's living in this house. He sits on my chair. He's next to me at the table. I have his wife. I have his bed. I'm not myself anymore. I'm Camille. Camille, I'm Camille.
You're painting him in all of your pictures, aren't you?
Yes. Yes. Yes, even my hands don't belong to me. I can't paint anymore. He's always there in my hands. These hands. These 2 hands will betray me. They become his.
This is retribution.
I can't stand the sight of you, you bitch.
Go on.
I could kill you.
Camille never struck me. You're a monster. Go on, kill me as you killed him. You made it fall. There's a devil in your eyes. What do you want to say? You're right. That creature's made my life intolerable. If he weren't there to remind me, I could live my life in peace. You're looking at the knife, aren't you? Well, I've got it. You shan't torment me any longer. He killed Camille because he was in the way. All right, then. He's in my way.
Sit down. I'll give you a glass of wine.
What are you putting in that bottle?
Put down that knife.
After you put down that bottle. We loved each other so much. And we come to this. Look. Her lips are moving. She's smiling a horrible smile.
She's trembling.
She's going to speak. I tell you, she's going to speak. You killed my boy. Have mercy on us. Don't hand us over to the police.
And you... I thought that I started writing your names on the table, but I stopped. I want to watch you pay for your crime here in this room.
Oh, forgive me. I'm on my knees. I beg you, have pity.
Pity? Did you have pity on my boy? Don't ask me for pity! I have none. Pity. I want to watch remorse destroy you both like two wild beasts. Hand you over. No, I shall not hand you over. You are mine